Start out with a couple comments. First of all, just tremendous way to end the 2019 season for our football team. It was a really hard-fought game out there. Two highly competitive teams, two ranked teams, and we've got a lot of respect for USC, their program, their team certainly. But I'm just really proud of our team, the way they prepared, not only this week but also the entire month. And that's always a challenge in bowl games. And this one was a little bit unique for us because it was a shorter preparation with the calendar falling the way it did. But I thought our guys really handled things well and then did a great job out here and obviously competed hard tonight. So just really, really proud of them. And the biggest thing for us tonight, it was a complete team victory. It was offense, special teams, defense, and everybody handled it, and that's just good football. So somebody handed me on the way over here just some statistics I think that are pertinent. It's the 12th year in a row we've had a defensive pick six, defensive touchdown off an interception. Happy about that. 49 points is the most we've ever had in a bowl game. AJ Epinosa back-to-back 10 sack seasons. Amir had a touchdown rushing, throwing, and receiving, and kick return, almost throwing. And then 47 wins over the last 5 years sets a school record. So just really proud of our guys for that. And a 10-3 season, certainly something that's tough to do in college football. So proud of our guys on that front. And just last couple of thoughts. It's been a really challenging month in Iowa athletics with the passing of Bump and Coach Fry. So I think when you think about both those men, what they stood for, what they taught was competing at a high level and doing it with great competitiveness, but also with integrity. And that's one of the reasons I'm just so proud to be at Iowa. And hopefully this is one they both enjoyed tonight, and more importantly, their families enjoyed just as much. So just happy about that. And I think about our senior class this year. Had 19 guys. Majority of them didn't start actually. But I can't say enough about the job they've done throughout their entire time in our program, whether it's 5 years, 4 years, some cases 1 year, but each and every one of them really did a great job just modeling the right behavior and the way to do things on a daily basis. And that's the only way to have a good football team is the guys at the top have to set the tempo. So I can't thank them enough publicly, just did it in the locker room. And, they're going to be Hawkeyes for life, certainly, and we're going to be with them all the way through. But it's not a group I'm worried about too much down the road because they're just great young people. So can't say enough about them. I'll throw it out for questions.
Coach Michael Bryan, KCRG. You mentioned a little bit, there was so much talks about Bump and Hayden, and then what were the emotions for you seeing them do the hokey pokey there in the locker room?
That was pretty special, and I think the Paulsons are right there leading. Imagine that, right? So, I didn't cue him up on that one. Somebody else may have, but Robin actually asked me that about 10 days ago if that was going to happen, and so it did. And that was one of Coach Fry's signatures, one of many actually. So nice tribute to him.
Kirk, Tom Kakert, Hawkeye Report. Hey, the significance of 10 wins. It seems like that's a pretty big deal. Can you speak to that and what you guys achieved?
Yeah, I think it's the ninth time in program history it's happened, and it's something we put out there for our team. Being ranked is a big thing too. But the biggest thing when it all came down to it is just encourage our guys. Let's just compete. Let's go out and compete and try to enjoy the night. Last time together, there are no tomorrows on this one, so it's all about the 2019 season. Winning 10 games is hard. Winning any game is hard in college football. So I can't say enough about our entire football team, but again, it starts with those seniors. They can really feel proud about the contributions they've made here over the last 4 or 5 years.
Kirk, Scott Docterman, The Athletic. Wanted to ask you about Ihmir Smith-Marsette, his performance tonight, and really the last couple of games, he's been a real instrumental player. Tonight, you really attacked the edges with Ihmir, and as well as on the kick return. But what was that part of the strategy to attack the edges on USC? They seemed susceptible to that in the past.
Yeah, it just seemed like there were some things that we saw during the course of our preparation that thought we might have a chance to get out there a little bit with get the ball on the edge. So, he did a great job, and I thought we had a really good game plan, executed well. But Ihmir, I'm really glad to see him play the way he did because he hasn't been full speed the last couple of weeks. He had a couple minor things going on. So. Came back this week, last couple of days, practiced well, and sure looked like he's full speed tonight, so that was good to see.
Bryce Miller at the Union Tribune. Coming into the week, you were asked a little bit about the reputation of conferences in terms of team speed. How much of a role did your team speed on both sides of the ball play in this game?
Yeah, I don't know if we were better than them that way, but I think we were able to stay with them. And, you know, I've been around the Big Ten for quite a while. I think, you know, there's been such a, you know, just perception gets a little distorted sometimes, and it happens in sports all the time, I should say. But, you know, the conference stuff, things shift, you know, year to year, conference to conference. But, you know, we had a really strong conference this year, I do know that. And a lot of really good football teams, I think, were one of them. And the way our guys competed week in and week out, you know, just I'm really proud of what they did. So to win 10 games in our conference, it's a conference where defenses tend to be pretty feisty and aggressive. To win 10 games the way we did, I'm just really proud of our guys overall.
Mark Barnes, the director, is that Kirk? How big was the stop after the onside kick? I mean,
Really big. Yeah.
You guys had the moment. They had the momentum. And
Yeah, it just it's interesting. The first half, we took the ball, drove it, and you know possessed it. Basically on every possession, came out with points and possessed it, and then had one long drive in that second half as well. But yeah, you could feel momentum swinging there. At least the opportunity for it, and for us to come out and get a stop after we've been struggling to get a stop. That was huge, you know, really huge to at least flip it back and, you know, because that could have gotten interesting real quick if they'd taken the ball and gotten down there and scored.
Well, Coach, Rick Coleman from KWWL-TV, talking about right after that, stopping them, coming back with that very tough physical drive, 14 plays, 90 yards. It seemed like to be a gut punch to them at that time.
Yeah, it's how football goes, you know, it's back and forth, and who can capitalize on opportunities, certainly. So what a great field position for us, that the guys took it and responded, and really much the same way they did in the first half, and that did open up the lead a little bit, and it was really huge. So that's what I mean by good team football. There are a lot of good responses. You know, you're going to have ups and downs during the course of the game, but how we respond, whether it's on special teams, the kick return certainly came at a big moment, and then that drive you mentioned is really pivotal as well.
Scott Dockerman again with the Athletic. Offensive coordinators are lightning rods for criticism. That you
Really?
Yeah. I'm sure you discovered that. But when you look at, especially the first script and series, I think it was 10 plays, 5 different personnel groupings, back and forth. Can you? I know it's in the right afterwards, but can you evaluate if this might have been Brian's best game as a play caller, because everything seemed to work?
And he's actually had a couple good ones. You know, Ohio State comes to mind also, but. You know, it really gets down to, I think our coaching staff, just our entire coaching staff, has really done a good job. And I think it's been true all season long. They've done a great job of giving the players a good plan. Ultimately, it gets down to execution on the field. It's all about the players. And, you know, these guys have really been responsive. They practiced really well this week. And, you know, it's you know, we're not in the cozy confines of Iowa City. We're not able to set the times just like we want. A couple bowl activities, which are great. The guys have been flexible. They handled it. They're a mature football team, and I think the coaches on both sides of the ball gave these guys a good plan and special teams on top of it, and guys went out and executed. But yeah, really pleased with everything I saw tonight. And you know, we knew they were going to get some yards. We knew they were going to score. We were hoping to limit some of that to field goals as opposed to touchdowns. But it was a good night for us.
with, you know, in football, everybody talks spreads, and I'm sorry, spreads, air raid, all that stuff. I moved, yeah. It still comes down to the line of scrimmage, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it sure helps. And
You guys are superior.
yeah, and our, you know, again, I haven't seen the film, kind of to your point, but yeah, I thought our guys played really well on both sides of the ball this morning, you know, up front.
Yeah.
And you know, they present some challenges for you defensively with their blitzing, their attacking. They load that box up pretty heavy when we're in our run groups. And I thought our guys really blocked well. I thought they protected when we needed to. Missed one there at the end, but that was, you know, more than the line. But yeah, I thought our guys did a good job up front and got good pressure off the edges, all that stuff to get to the quarterback. But I thought those guys both worked hard, and we were rotating guys through, so we're really proud of everybody, their effort.
We'll do 3 more.
And Coach, Jason Summers here at KNIC Radio.
Yep.
Coach, a program that oftentimes doesn't get classified as very sexy, to get a sexy win with a named program, what does that do for the program?
Well, I mean, our goal is to be bowl champions, and then, you know, had a really tough opponent to play, a ranked team and a team that's very athletic and very well coached, very explosive. So, you know, we had a lot of respect for them in all three segments. And, just, there's no downside to winning or losing a game. I know that, or winning a game, excuse me, no downside to that. So, you know, it's great. And to get our 10th win, to get it against a ranked opponent, get it on the road in a great bowl game. And let me just take one moment and just compliment everybody associated with this bowl. The Holiday Bowl was great in the 80s, and it's better now. It's just the hospitality, everything for our players. San Diego is such a great venue, so everything about it was good. There's nothing that happened this week that we could, be upset about, that's for sure.
Kirk, Pat Hardy, all Hawkeyes. You talk about the senior class and how this was the ultimate team victory. Devontae Young's block that helped spring Amir, is that kind of what you mean about just that example?
Yeah, you think about that. Devontae's a great story in himself. You think about guys like the Paulsons, who, we started Kallenberger at guard, and nobody was more into the game than Levi or Landon on our sideline. It's been that way week in and week out. These guys are just so selfless, and that's how they are. They're that way every day at practice and every game. And, so it's easier to be a starter. It's easier to be the guy that's out there playing all the time. Look at all those guys. We have so many guys that contribute on special teams or whatever. They're just good team guys, and they do it in the weight room. They do it in meeting rooms, all those kinds of things. And that's what it takes to have a good football team. So I can't say enough about them. And, whether it's Stanley, who's, a marquee guy, or a guy like John Maloney, who, played on special teams, but not an awful lot. All these guys are going to do a great job in life because they just know how to do things. That's ultimately the goal of this whole thing.
Last question.
Adam Rosso from Hawkeye Headquarters. You mentioned the total team win. When did you realize, or when does it sink in when it all is coming together? When you know all three phases are really working like they did tonight?
We've always emphasized that, and part of being a team win. Some days, one of the segments doesn't have a good day or night, and then somebody else has to carry the load. But tonight, all three complemented each other. All three phases of it did, and that's, again, it gets down to our players. I think they have an understanding, a real appreciation for what it takes to be a good football team, and then they go out and work towards that end. And it simply gets down to the preparation part. And then you got to show up and compete, whether it's 5 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And our guys were, whatever it is now, 13 for 13. So I'm just really proud of this whole group. They've been a fun group to be with.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.